Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron. It is the instant match reaction. Everton 0, Aston Villa 0 this afternoon at Goodison Park. Our second goalless draw on the spin, of course, after that goalless draw in the FA Cup against Crystal Palace last week. And another... What can we say? How can we describe that performance? Another hard-fought performance, another hard-working performance. I thought the players battled. I thought the players gave everything. I thought it was a difficult game against a difficult opposition. Listen, Aston Villa aren't third in the Premier League for no reason. They're there because they've put in some fantastic performances this season and they've made themselves incredibly difficult to beat, and they've got a couple of top quality stars in there that stand out and are often able to get them over the line. But I thought we dealt with it really well today. It wasn't the most entertaining game of football I've ever witnessed, and it wasn't the best Everton performance I've ever witnessed either. I think a draw was probably the fair result. Come the end of the game, Aston Villa had a couple of opportunities that they may feel they should have done better with. Everton, for me, had the best opportunity of the game in Dominic Calvert-Lewin's one-on-one, which is just so poor for me. Listen, I know Dom is low on confidence. I know Dom is, coming off the back of a couple of seasons of, real disappointment for him with injuries, etc., etc., etc. But there's only so much we can put down to a lack of confidence and being unlucky. And that today, for me, is just really, really poor. He's got to do better with that chance. He absolutely has to do better with that chance. Martinez has gone to goal. He's gone to... Martinez has gone to the floor before Dominic Calvert-Lewin's even released the ball. So he's made it a much easier opportunity for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. All his Dom had to do was drag it either side of him, and he would have A, got past him, and then tapped it into an open net. He would have B, won a penalty, and therefore, obviously, Everton would have had a great opportunity to go a goal up in the game. Or he could have just dinked it over him. Had he have just dinked it over him when he was on the floor, it would have been a certain goal as well. It was a finish from a player that is incredibly low on confidence and has never really, if we're being honest, there's never really been somebody that has looked confident and comfortable and prolific in those types of situations. Dom is obviously a very good striker, and when he's playing at his highest level and when his confidence is up and when he's doing well and he's enjoying his football, he's somebody that offers an awful lot to this side and somebody that can score goals in moments that maybe other players won't. But, even at his best times at the football club, when he's been at his very best and when he's put in really good performances, he's never really looked completely comfortable in those one-on-one situations, and I think again today was another example of that. We had another couple of opportunities during the game as well. Obviously Decore has one in the back of the net right at the end, but the offside flag was up. I don't know whether anybody else feels like this after watching that game, and maybe it's just me, and maybe it's just because of where Everton are at the moment and where I am at the moment in terms of, how much I'm starting to fall out of love with this sport. But today was a goalless draw, a 0-0 game. Both sides worked hard, both sides created opportunities, both sides had big chances and ultimately didn't take them. It was freezing cold. It was piddling down with rain. It was probably the coldest I've ever been at Goodison Park, and I was wrapped up to the hilt with multiple different layers. And yet, still, this sort of new way of football with VAR and with, how poor the refereeing decisions are at the moment, still managed to ruin it. And I'm not even talking at this point about a bad VAR decision or a decision that went against Everton that should have gone for Everton, or the referee having a completely terrible game of football. Just that Aston Villa goal, that disallowed Aston Villa goal, was enough for me to sort of sit back and go, is this what it's become? Is this what we've become now? Leon Bailey is about 4 miles offside. He may as well be stood in the Gladys seat ordering a hot dog with a pair of 110s on and a Monster X Saki. That's how far offside he is. You could see it. They flashed the image up for a couple of seconds after it had been given as offside, and you could tell from a mile away it was offside within a couple of seconds of seeing one image. So why are they taking 4.5 minutes checking that situation? And people always tell me, oh, Cam, it's not corrupt. It's not corrupt at all. It's, it's just that they're poor referees and they're poor officials and they're poor for everyone, etc., etc., etc. Why did they take 4.5 minutes to determine what was arguably the most blatant offside I've seen all season being offside? I don't understand it. I simply don't understand it. I don't understand how that can take functional human beings that long to make the decision. The only player that's anywhere near him is Danjuma, who's on the floor because he's being fouled, ironically. But still, Leon Bailey has got a whole foot offside. And yet, it still takes 4.5 minutes. I don't understand. I sort of looked at it, and even though it went our way, and even though obviously the goal was disallowed and it was still 0-0, and that was at a period in the game where, Villa was starting to put a little bit of pressure on and they were starting to put their foot on the gas a little bit, and we were, losing control of the game a little bit. Even though it come in that moment, probably the best moment for a goal to be disallowed against your team when you're on the ropes a little bit and the opposition have scored, I still found myself sitting back going, oh, is this really what it's become now? Is this really what I'm going out on a Sunday afternoon and sitting in the freezing cold weather, in the pissing down rain, in the middle of January to watch them take 4.5 minutes to give a blatantly obvious decision? And the Blues says that they tried their hardest to give it, didn't they? They absolutely did, because look at the contrast. Look at the contrast. When Abdoulaye Doucouré puts one in the back of the net in the last minute, it's given like that. Now, I haven't seen it back, so I'm not saying it should have stood. It may well be offside. It may well be very clearly offside. But Leon Bailey's was quite clearly offside. And they took 4.5 minutes for some reason. Now, if it wasn't to try and give it, then what was it for? Why did they take so long? Because for me, as I said, it flashed up on the screen for a couple of seconds and it was obvious to me. It was obvious. So I don't know how it took them that long. And then when it's Doucouré's right at the end, when Everton have scored, it is given instantly. And as I said, I haven't seen that back, so it may well have been comfortably offside. It may well have been, the right decision. But again, it's just ruining the game now. It really is ruining the game. And, people talk about VAR all the time. Are we better with it? Are we better without it? I still stand by my point. I still stand by my point that until every single one of those referees is shipped off somewhere far, far away, never to be heard of again, and replaced with people that actually know what they're doing and can do the job properly, it will never change. But moments like that today just make me sort of think, wow, is this what we're doing now? Because you can't celebrate, you can't get excited anymore, you can't live in the moment, you can't live in that emotion. Abdoulaye Doucouré has just scored a last minute winner there, a last minute winner for Everton in a game that was very tight, that would have been a big 3 points. And okay, yes, it's offside and it's being given as offside, but even before the flag went up, even before the VAR check or whatever, the minute it went in, I didn't feel any form of overly jubilant emotion or, oh my God, Everton have scored a last minute winner, because I'm just default function now to think, well, let's just wait and see if anything's wrong with it. See if it's offside, see if there's a foul given in the build-up, see if somebody's walked past the referee and said something and the referee's decided he wants to pull it back. Let's just wait now. And that, like I said, this sport, in its current form, isn't the sport that I fell in love with when I was 4, 5, 6 years old. Whenever that ball hit the back of the net, if the offside flag wasn't up, I was going apeshit. Absolutely apeshit. Now, even when the offside flag's not going up, you still reluctant and hesitant to celebrate, because you think, well, if I celebrate here and if I go absolutely bonkers, I'm going to look like a bit of a tit if it gets pulled up for offside. And what is football when you start taking away that joy from people? When you start taking away that pure emotion from people, what does it become then? It just becomes a farce. And that is what it is at the moment. That is what it is. It's just a farce. And that, again, was another example today. Yes, it went for us and in favour of us. And to all of these people that support different clubs that are going to come on, oh, he only moans when it goes against him. He only moans when it's Everton. Is it corrupt because it's not against Everton? This decision went for Everton today. And yet I'm still sitting here saying, really, 4.5 minutes to check that a full foot is offside, even though I could see it within a split second when it was flashed up. I find myself now looking and thinking this is really, really difficult to enjoy. Really, really difficult. Not just Everton, but football in general. I haven't watched any football over the weekend. Because I just don't enjoy it anymore. I just don't enjoy it. And I watch Everton because I love Everton and I always will watch Everton and I'll always go. And I apologise if you are sick of me moaning and sick of me complaining, etc., etc. Because you know what? I'll always be on here talking because I'll always be watching Everton Football Club. But it is getting to the point now where football is becoming more and more difficult to tolerate in its current form. Something needs to change. You know, isn't it ironic that the prices of season tickets are going up, the prices of tickets are going up, the prices of football shirts are going up, football boots, football accessories, you know, the price of everything around football is going up. People's wages aren't going up. People are having to work twice as hard for the same wage just so they can be able to afford to go and watch their favourite football club of a weekend, and then they're sitting in the freezing cold for 5 minutes while the referees determine what is blatantly offside. You know, determine whether or not it's offside or not. It's just wrong. It's all sorts of wrong for me. And as I said, I'm slowly but surely getting to the point where I'm like, this ain't for me. This ain't for me. But as I said a couple of weeks ago, those 11 players could be picking up rubbish on the street. They could be packing shelves in the local supermarket. They could be playing cricket. I'd still go and watch them every week because that's my love for this football club, and that will never change. But yeah, as I said, I thought it was a good point to take today. I thought it was a good point. It wasn't a hugely entertaining game of football, and there wasn't an awful lot that happened. They had a couple of big opportunities. They had one in the second half where it flashed across the goalpost. I think it was that Duran that come on, and what a strange guy, by the way. What a strange guy. Come on and threw himself at a header, and it just flashed past the post. And I remember thinking, oh, we've got away with one there. We had another one where it fell to Matty Cash, luckily in the box, and Mikalenko has made an absolutely unbelievable block. An unbelievable block. He just threw his body at it, full sort of full-back manner, threw his body at it, and ultimately it was a great block, and he's kept it out. As I said, we had a couple of opportunities. Tom's one, he absolutely should score. Danjuma had a couple of half chances as well. Beto had a couple when he come on. Onana had one towards the end that he skied. But just generally, I just think at the moment going forward, we're lacking a little bit. I know obviously Decore was back today, and that's absolutely great news because he's so important to us. He's so key to the way in which we play and the way in which we attack. But just generally, discounting Decore for the moment, I just think we need more. I think we need more from everyone across that front line. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, absolutely. Jack Harrison, I mean, Jack Harrison often gets away with very little stick. I thought he was horrendous today. Absolutely horrendous. Dwight McNeil wasn't much better when he come on, but okay, he's coming off the back of an injury, fair enough. Danjuma, not doing enough. Beto, when he come on, not doing enough. I just think that I thought defensively we were okay. Like I said, I thought Vitaly Mikalenko for me was the best player on the pitch in an Everton shirt. Thought Coleman done well. Thought the two centre halves were They didn't seem as comfortable as they have done in recent weeks, but they were still relatively comfortable. They still put a decent performance. And I thought Amadou Onana was fantastic today, and it'll be interesting to see how many people are willing to come out and say that, because everybody's quick to come out and talk about when he puts a poor performance in. I thought he was brilliant today. He was everywhere. Winning the ball back, he was effective. He was the most effective player on the pitch in an Everton shirt. So I just think that forward line at the moment is letting us down, because it's not producing enough. It's not producing enough, and then when it does produce, it's not. The people on the end of the chances are not putting them away and not taking advantage of the chances being created. And when you're only creating 1 or 2 big chances in a game, you've got to put them in the back of the net. And look, as I said, there's absolutely no escaping it. I've defended Dominic Calvert-Lewin a lot recently. I've spoken about how he's quite clearly low on confidence, and he offers a lot more than just his goal threat. But today, ultimately, he is a striker, and the striker's job is to put the ball in the back of the net. We can talk about how great he is at everything else and how much more beneficial that is to the football club, but first and foremost, I don't care whether he's got hold-up play. I don't care whether he's strong. I don't care whether he's good in the air. I don't care whether he's absolutely brilliant at holding the ball up. I don't care about any of that if he can't put the ball in the back of the net. That's all great and brilliant, but a striker's main job is to be able to put the ball in the back of the net, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the moment cannot do that, and that chance today was huge. So as I said last week, he needs time out of this team. He needs a couple of games out of this team to reset himself, sit on the bench. And I'm not saying Beto is unbelievable, by the way, or Beto's going to come on and light the world up. I'm just saying Dom needs taken out, because at the moment, he's not affecting games of football whatsoever. Yeah, but look, it's not all doom and gloom. Ultimately, we've come away with a point against the side that are now joint second in the Premier League, so it's not the worst result in the world. We had chances to put it away and to win the game, and that's why I feel slightly disappointed, because it feels like another one of those games where a team was there for the taking and we've not taken advantage of it. But it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. We got a point. It was an hard-fought point. It was an hard-fought game. And yeah, we take that and we move on from it. We could have done with 3, but look, Villa are a good side and are in good form at the moment, and it could have quite easily gone the other way today. So we take it, we'll move on, and hopefully we can get a win under our belt over the next couple of games, because we desperately need one now. We really do. There you go. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We will be back with the player ratings very shortly, so don't forget to look out for those. Big thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you after.